Now, next speaker, we have Mr. Prithvi Banwasi. Let me, before I read his profile, I would like to say that he will be guiding and giving us insight on steps taken by Karnataka Council of Preschools to safeguard preschools and staff employment. I welcome you, sir. And Mr. Prithvi Banwasi is a passionate educator, fondly called as Potato Uncle by children from his preschools, Roots Montessori. He ended his journey in advertising, marketing, and events and completed his diploma in Montessori education when his child was born. Now, 16 years since, he has catered to more than working with 15,000 children in various avenues of Roots and other schools.
Can you come 1 minute?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, hi
Yes,
everyone. Nice to be here. Thanks, Dr. Lata Murthy.
Thank you. Welcome, sir.
Wonderful insights from the previous speakers. I thank them for such wonderful information, which is so valid and valuable for all educators. And I think this is something which many of us don't really take into and say that why should I go digital? Why should I go Facebook? I have my old school of thought and it works. Definitely it works. Referrals work. Alumni works a lot, and amazing insights. Thank you very much. Thank you both of you for such wonderful thing. Now my target is to buy that book and make sure I read those. Yeah, I will definitely do that. While we are here, as Secretary of Karnataka Preschools, we officially are moving to the education department and the minister. We have already met him twice. He was busy with the SSLC and the PUC exam preparations, and he said, kindly give me time for me to look into that first, and then I will come back to you for the preschool segment. Now, I'm here talking mainly for the preschool segment because our association is that, and I'm the secretary of that. One of the things that we have looked at putting in the memorandum is that preschool is nothing but an extension of your house. So if you look at Montessori, it is called Montessori House of Children. Similarly, a preschool is also an extension of your house. The number of preschools that we have visited, apart from those big chains which have huge campuses, most of it, 95%, are a small 30-40 or a 60-40 house, right? The 50-80 sizes are very minimal. We are talking about not just Bangalore urban, we are talking about rural areas, we are talking about a lot of towns where these preschools become essential spaces for people to leave their children and go to work. Many of these people are not really worried what the child is learning academically, but for them the most important thing is my child is safe in a space where I can trust that it is a second home. He will be taken care. So when I get back home from my work, he is in good hands till then, right? Most of us, preschool segment, we understand that we don't come under the constitution technically. The constitution says that above 6 years is when education begins, formal education. Unfortunately, the joint families who are the preschools earlier, now we are nuclear families, and now both husband and wife are working. So the preschools have come into existence. Let us understand that. While we are doing that, there's a lot of science behind why children between the age of 1.5 or 1 year to 6 years need proper guidance in terms of sensorial work, in terms of language work, in terms of the interaction and social behavior. I would look at largely these three areas, which is very important. And I would definitely go back to a doctor who mentioned VAK, visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. So preschools largely work with visual, auditory, and kinesthetic, whether it is the materials, the puzzles, the Montessori materials, or the storytelling sessions, the rhyme sessions. All these things become the primary way of working with them. So we understand that the child who's coming here is ensured to get good information through the right materials with the right trained people. 2014, 2015, when we started KCPS, we were all troubled by the government officials to fill the Form 1 or Form A, which is the primary school application form. The BO officers or the CRPs used to come and harass people saying that you are not a legal school, you do not have a permission, so you need to fill the Form A. The Form A says you need half an acre space. The Form A says you have to be a trust which have so much X 5 lakhs in the account. There is so many things that are there technically which is not applicable for preschools. That is when few of us got together, few school owners got together, formed Karnataka Council of Preschools, very conveniently named it Karnataka Council, and very conveniently had a green color logo which looked like a government logo to ensure that our reach is more easier in the Vidhan Saudha or other departments. But the work that we did was, we were very lucky to have Mr. Ajay Seth, the principal secretary at that time, who understood that the middlemen between the preschools and the government actually are harassing a lot. And he agreed to accept an online registration form to recognize independent preschools. Now that was a huge win for us because till 2016, we did not have any way of being recognized as an entity. We had to take either a shops and establishments license to run ourselves and say that since we are billing, we have to have a license. Now, post that, once the online form came up, it was very interesting to see that so many schools registered, independent preschools registered. And yes, there were challenges that when they went to collect the registration certificate, the government or the machinery, I wouldn't say the government, the machinery said, I need money to give you that certificate. This is irrespective of the money already paid as fees. That is when Mr. Ajay Seth helped us meet the DDPIs and instruct them that there is a 45 period. If you are unable to give a certificate, you should justify. Otherwise, the schools can file a complaint against the particular division or the person or the department saying that all the papers I have submitted as required by the government, but I am not being given. So there were a lot of people who were asking 5,000, 10,000, 15,000, 25,000. Most of our members, I would say 99% of our members called us and said that they are asking. So we immediately reached out to the DDPI who called the BU and the certificates were given. Now, that is a win-win for us with the government activity being small preschoolers. This also added a little later with the BBMP ruling coming that residential area schools cannot be run. Luckily, we were able to also divert that understanding, saying that this was not meant for preschools, but it was done as a blanket because they cannot leave an establishment in a residential area. It was targeted at somebody. So they relaxed all the notices that was given to the preschools. Now let me come to our current situation. Our current situation is a very challenging one for preschools because every day we wake up, pick up the newspaper, there is an article saying that 1 year let the preschools not run. You don't need children to go to schools. You don't need education for younger children. They can be at home. Why take the risk? What is happening? Basically, a few people who have the reach to the media or a few people who are able to create a fear psychosis have started promoting, saying that this is a good space. Let us tell people not to send preschool children. Now, if you are following the news, there was the first information by the education minister saying that no school will collect fees, right? Hope all of you have followed that. If you have,
yes, sir.
yeah, I mean, you can just type an S if you want,
Yes,
or it's perfectly fine. So 15 days later, there was a situation where the media came back with another information saying that you can collect fees, but you cannot force fees to be paid, right? So there was a lot of lobbying done to ensure that the statement has been changed. Are preschools powerful enough to do this lobby? No, we are not, because we have 15 different WhatsApp groups. We have different preschool heads starting their own small associations. There are big people. Preetham is part of one which is doing nationally. We are working in Karnataka. We both work together between Preetham and us, or ECA and us. Why? Because we are heading to the same direction. We understand that. What I'm here to say is there is a psychosis. The fear has been created that young children are very susceptible, and schools are a place where you will be able to easily contract. What we are doing now is we are going to the minister with solid proof, medical evidence, and also videos of preschools where children are sitting on one mat and another child is sitting on the next mat. The distance itself is 4 feet. So if you look at it, preschools have already done social distancing since the time they started. The only time when children get together is at the playtime or a rhymes time or at the snack time. Otherwise, most of the children are doing independent work. The child to teacher ratio is 1:15 in most of the places, which means one teacher has to only take care of 15 children. If she is given the in charge to sanitize, to check temperature, to ensure that the child who is coming in her team is taken care of properly, and similar information given to the parents saying that please let us not do private transports at this point of time till it is cleared. You ensure you drop the child home, from home to school. Inside the school, we will take care. Now, let me ask you a question. All of you are sitting at home. Are you wearing mask? No. You have a dining table. You have 4 chairs. Are the chairs 6 feet apart?
No.
Right? This is your house. You believe that the people who are living with you are safe and not going to make you contained or quarantined. It is a very simple logic. The virus is not only in the air. It is in touch, is what has been created. The sanitizers, the doorknobs, the kind of frenzy that has been created is so scary. I'm not going to say that it is not good to be hygienic. It is very good, especially where tender children, younger children are there. I don't think COVID is going to make us disinfect it or clean our materials. We have been doing it all the while. I know preschools, every day after the school is over, there are duties for teachers who will clean their material and go out. Every morning, teachers come in half an hour earlier, make sure the materials are intact and ready for the child. When we are taking care of so much hygiene and importance for the child, we have to impress to the government, because the government is looking not from the preschool, they're looking at school. The minute you say school, their imagination of a school is 1,000 children, 5,000 children, 3,000 children. I have a school with 40 children. When I went to the minister said, Newbidil, school owner, you must be making a lot of money. I told him there are 40 children. I have 20 staff members. No, for the government, school means a lot of children. We have to impress upon them, which is what we are trying to do now medically with video proof, saying that the number of children who come into these schools are very minimal. So please do not worry. That is 1. 2, who is our partner in this? Who is a partner to start our school? Our partner is a parent. A parent is the person who is going to assist, support us, and say that all these years you have taken care of my child. I know you will continue to do so. For which we need to do one-on-one sessions. Now the lockdown has been relaxed. I have been conducting sessions in our school where parents are coming. We are giving them time. Each day, 2 people, 3 parents are coming. We are talking to them, telling them that, come, take a look at the cleanliness. Take a look at what we are doing. They are saying the date it is announced that schools can start, I'm sending my child. Why? They understand that it's an extension of the house. Hardly 30 to 40 children are there. We ensure that they are safe and sound. Yeah. What is the fear is, or what I'm sure, if I look at it from the government point of view, I would definitely say that I have a fear if I am the government saying, if by chance there is a negligence in some school, there is a child who contracts COVID, then I have to ensure that the entire school is quarantined. So if the school has 1,000 children, I have to do 30,000 people, the child and his parents. Everybody in the first circle gets quarantined. Number one. Number two, there is a fear in parents saying that if my child contracts in the school, I will not even be allowed to meet my child. They will quarantine the child directly. So until a vaccine is created or until the government says that it is all clean and fine, I will not send my child. Now, that is possible for a parent who's at home in the comfort zones and also in space where they are able to assist the child. We have a lot of people. We are essentially a country with both parents working now, mostly. You're looking at a preschool segment in urban. Most of them are parents who are working. So this is very essential to ensure that we highlight the safety measures taken in the school and how we will have a contract between the parent and the school. Whether you want to call it a form where we sign a disclaimer saying that if anything happens to my child, I will take care of this as my responsibility because I need to send my child to daycare or school. It is between the school and the parent. We are trying to get the minister to say only one statement. You have to let the parent decide if they want to send the child to school. Not say, don't open. We have rents to pay. We have salaries to pay. We pay for April and May, the months that is not functioning. Our fees are all fixed for the 12 months, not for the 10 months that we function. Who is going to pay that? There is a question in my topic saying, are we safeguarding preschools? Are we safeguarding our staff? In our memorandum, we are also putting a petition saying all of us pay taxes. We don't come under MSME. We can't go to the government and or the banks and say, please give me a loan, I need to pay salary. You have to pay salary from the fees that we collect. So we are asking the government, 20 lakh crore is being released to ensure that there is relief for all of us, citizens of India. We as preschools, we as teachers have been paying our taxes, filing our returns. We don't want lakhs and crores together. Is it possible to ensure that the salaries that we draw from our schools for the months of March, April, May, June, or until the time you want to keep the schools closed, can be credited to our PAN numbers? You have a PAN number. You have all our details that is there. We are taxpayers. Is there some method in which, where we don't come under small scale industry, where we cannot go to a department and say that recognize me as a loan requirement? Is there some method which you can definitely look at where we will also not be under pressure? When I mentioned use private transport, I said let us start the school soon so that the fees comes in and we can pay the driver who's sitting and doing nothing. We require him a little later. He cannot be sent away. Yes, practically what's going to happen now, somebody mentioned and somebody has in one of the chats is mentioned saying that 50 to 75% of children might come this year. Practically thinking about it. Can we reduce our workforce? That is not going to be fair, but we will have to do it. Most of the school owners we are requesting, please speak to the teachers. Work out a sharing for salaries to them. Don't exit the helpers and the people who require this salary. Please ensure you retain the salaries for them, retain those people, rather speak to the teachers because at least one other person is working in their house. Most of the helpers are individual, independent people. So make sure that you negotiate with the teacher. If you want to defer it, you can defer it saying that post-COVID, once everything is done, at the next summer vacation, I will add it as a bonus to you. How you want to work it out between your teachers is left to you, but ensure that we not remove people. Unfortunately, yesterday I was talking to Prasanna from School Ventures, and he was mentioning that 125 schools are closing this now, preschools, out of desperation. 125. I think the dog barked at the perfect time. Yeah? 125 schools is a huge hit. If you take, it is going to affect at least 20 to 30 or 40,000 parents and their work. So it is up to us to make sure we all us together. As far as the teachers go, wonderful, beautiful time to recoup, to increase your potential, to learn more, to I love this online frenzy that's going on. You know how many preschool teachers are sitting back at home and doing so many creative and innovative methods to reach children. It's an amazing thing. Even if does not go and it doesn't reach the child, it is perfectly fine. There is so much stimulation happening to the teacher. There is so much of activity to the teacher that she's going to come back and be an asset to the institution. She's going to become an asset to the child. On a positive note, I'm going to say something in light heart. Jokes going on saying that everybody's sitting at home, so in a year you can see a boom of babies. Right? Everybody sitting at home, you might be having a boom of babies coming in 1 year.
Very true, Prithvi.
What does that say? It says, preschools, get ready. You're going to have a bursting time 1 year later. You're going to have so many children wanting and waiting for admission. And you know the advantage. I know K-12 owners are here. Apologize to them. But the practical, psychological aspect of a parent fear, when it comes to it, like the gurus have taught us how to digital market and the USPs that we have. If I use my USP and say that, sir, we are a small school. We only have 30 to 40 children. I can take care of your child wonderfully. I can give one-on-one attention without saying that if you go to a big school, there is 5,000 children and there are 3 sections called nursery, LKG, UKG. They also stand in assembly in uniform, which we don't do without saying it. The parent is going to look at my neighborhood, my school. This is going to become a fact. The next few years, you will see the neighborhood schools becoming very prominent. They are going to make sure that most of the children below 6 years will attend. If you are a wonderful school equipped with brilliant teachers and having a wonderful alumni who speaks about you, believe me, you're going to make the best of it. I think I will stop here with this positive note that we have a wonderful period to look for, and we are still in vacation. Today is 24th May. I would have been planning to come back from my holiday wherever I would have gone. So let's not worry too much about content. Let's enjoy. Yep. Thank you very much. Don't worry, schools will open. School will all be happy. It'll open soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Prithvi. It was wonderful. And we had a lot of inputs from your end. And very aptly said about what is required for the skills development for preschools. And also the difficult time that we are facing now. And also would be taking our safety measures ahead. And you also spoke about the workforce. And we are definitely going to see a brighter future. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
and it was wonderful session.
If there's any question, I would like to take
questions from the.
I only want to add one thing. While you're meeting the parents, create videos of your helpers cleaning the school and send it to them.
Sanitizing, okay.
Yeah. Okay. Not just sanitizing, disinfecting materials, cleaning windows, doors, knobs, everything. Make videos and send it. They will appreciate it very much.
Very good. Yes, delegates, any questions for sir? I think Saroj wanted to say something. She was in a dilemma stating that whether the schools are going to reopen this year or not reopen.
Yeah, I have an answer for that, madam.
Yes.
See?
See, definitely we are not going, Corona is not going to leave us and go away.
Yes.
We are not taking Corona and live in Jammu, Kashmir and come back and stay here. So Corona is going to be a family member of all of us.
Okay.
Definitely we should travel with Corona. It is not at all leaving us. In future, definitely leaders will announce we should travel along with Corona. Many big diseases came like chickenpox, malaria, cholera, AIDS, many big diseases came and still they are existing. Okay. So even then we are traveling along with the diseases. So this Corona came and created an awareness how to be and how to live, and it trained us in lifestyle. That is only the thing. So in very less time, this Corona, what you call this breakdown and everything will come out, and definitely if Corona is not going, it is becoming cruel. All the doctors, how they wear the dress in the hospitals, all our students with colorful dress will go to school, and our teachers will go in the colorful.
Very true, Dr. Venkatraidu. We have
very true.
Prithvi sir wanted to tell something, sir.
Yeah, please tell me. Oh, yeah. So what I wanted to say is, this fear psychosis and panic that is there, it is something which is very temporary.
Yes, yes.
You know, it's very temporary. In your neighborhood, if 10 children start going to school and they are very safe and sound, you should just step out, just walk, go around Bangalore. This is becoming like 7 to 7, probably nobody will be affected. After 7, people will die. You should see the number of people outside. You should see the markets open. You should see shops. Everything is open. People are in contact with others. People are breathing their own carbon dioxide to live today within their masks.
Inside the mask, yes.
Yeah. So you will definitely not have an issue in terms of the schools opening or the parents sending. It is that small fear psychosis that needs to go. Once children start coming, they go back home and they are very happy. The positive entity will bounce to others, and they'll say, see, children are actually happy. And what we have understood is, it is good for the immune system to build very well if children are sent to schools. That is what we would like to highlight.
Very nicely said, Mr. Prithvi Vanasi. Claps to you, a round of applause by everyone. Thank you so much for all the inputs.
Thank you, everyone.
Welcome, sir. Now we have Mr. Karthik Naidu, and he's going to talk about after effects of COVID-19 on preschooling as well as schools. Mr. Karthik Naidu is an educationist by heart and an entrepreneur by passion. He is very clear on his purpose and mission. As an educationist, he is on a mission to help 5 lakh students find their path to success. As an entrepreneur, he is on a mission to help 10,000 business owners to scale their business using his own franchisee ecosystem model. As a human being, he wants to give back to the world in abundance to make a difference in the lives of needy. And his heart was in education always, and wanted to give the best experience to kids of early childhood. After spending a lot of time on research, finally a standalone school was born in 2017 at Yelahanka, Bangalore. White Petal's unique approach today towards early childhood, early education was loved and got a phenomenal response from parents and kids. As a result, White Petals is expanding rapidly with many branches across South India and soon going pan-India. White Petals is on a mission to build top-class early childhood centers for the overall development of children and remain in the hearts of these children for a lifetime. Over to you, Mr. Karthik Naidu.
Thank you, ma'am. First of all, a super evening for everyone. Okay, just type in good evening in the comment section. So let's get a little active. Okay, it was a wonderful session from all the speakers. And I really loved the session of all the speakers, and especially Prithvi sir was somewhere in connection to what I'll be handling today. Okay, my topic for today is going to be what are the effects, okay, after effects of COVID-19. So before that, okay, I want to know that how many of the attendees are from preschool segment? Okay, just type in PS. That means preschool. So let's see. So I'm sure it's going to be Okay, I see a firing that's happening right from a gun. You can see the bullets coming in. So it's the right audience and it's a right topic probably for me to put across you. And yes, COVID-19 has taken a big turn on preschool industry. Okay, the preschool segment. Coming to my school, yes, I run a school up to grade 5. It's a primary school. It's not just a preschool. So we have about 12 classrooms, an auditorium, and then, but I'm also a franchisor. I have many branches across South India, and my journey has started from very little. I mean, I've started off from a very little school and built it to whatever White Petals is currently. And by God's grace, it's like doing one of the best, and I'm very happy about it. So today I'll be addressing about what are the after effects of COVID-19. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll just take you to my presentation. I'll take you to my mind map. I believe all are able to see that. Okay, perfect. So I'll just show you what leading website had published. Okay, it says that educational impact. Okay, the closures, 118,000 plus schools. Okay, 53.7 million plus students impacted because of COVID-19. And this is from one of the biggest news, okay, NBC. Okay, so it was an article that was published. I felt it's like apt for this particular presentation. So before we proceed, okay, I want to make few things clear. As I told, yes, I'm an entrepreneur also. Education is always my passion, and I'm educationist first, but then yes, I'm into my own coaching programs in other places. So I help people in franchising and other things. But before we get into that, I want to connect both of them. Okay, so we heard, right, the minister said that he gave a statement that LKG, UKG ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಏನಾದರೂ online class ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಅದು ದುಡ್ಡಿನ ದುರಾಸೆ. So converting in English, it's like if any LKG and UKG students are being taken online classes, it's only out of the greed of the schools. Okay, so clearly everyone have started considering all the schools as money making machine. But I want to break the myth before we even start. Okay, I want to give a clear information that I've started from 2017. Yes, the school has made a lot of money, to be very frank. Currently it's about 140 plus students and a lot of branches. But I'll tell you something, I've not taken one single rupee till date out of it. You know why? Because every single profit that the school has made is gone back to the school. It's gone on the construction, it's gone on the interiors, it's gone in the auditorium, it's gone on everything. And this is what every single school is doing. Okay, when you talk about the K-12 schools or the preschools, every single year you're so passionate to go out there and get those new materials. You go out there and upgrade your school, you get it repainted. The investment what goes back to the school is major. And coming to the bigger schools, there's nothing to say that a school to completely finish its construction and run, it's going to take at least 15 to 20 years. And this is the myth that people think that, okay, schools are making a lot of money. Okay, and all the schools are being run under the trust. And me being a law graduate, I'm a lawyer also. I'll tell you that trust is an NGO. You're not supposed to make profit. And education is not a product to be sold in India currently. Okay, it's not legal to sell education. But yes, you can sell services through your companies. If you have a private limited company, just like what I franchise my preschools, then you are legal to do it. So one thing, wherever the statements coming in from people around is too disturbing, I know it's not a very good sign for all of us to be taking. So before I get into this, I'm going to be hitting some hard facts. Okay, I'm going to be very straight, very clear, and straight up to what's happening right now. Okay, the first topic is I want to talk about, we come under service industry. Okay, we call our preschools as service. As Prithvi sir was telling, there was no recognition, in fact. Okay, preschools were nowhere. It doesn't come under MSME. Okay, if you think that we come under MSME micro industries, we don't. Okay, because there are a lot of norms that comes under, so we don't come there. So where are we placed? We're not even placed there. We're not placed here. I'm going to talk only as a preschool owner currently. Okay, so it's going to be a service industry where a value exchange happens between both people. Okay, who are they? So what is a preschool service going to be? Preschool service is going to be about training the students. That's your service, what you're rendering to the students. That's children. Okay, the second one is going to be service to the parents. You're solving the problem of the parent. So what is the parent's problem? That every single day they're not able to give the right education in a structured curriculum. And that is the reason they're sending to school, where schools have a dedicated place with a structured curriculum where you will be going ahead and imparting that knowledge to the child, and the child's overall development, right from your fine motor skills, your gross motor skills, to the development in the early childhood education happens perfectly. Okay, so this is the biggest plus point and the value that any school can give. And to be very frank, this is priceless. Okay, the 40,000, 50,000, I just heard. Yes, preschool's bracket of fee structure is just starting from 15, 20,000 to up to maybe 80,000 or lakh. But majority of the 70% schools charge anywhere between about 30 to 60,000 max. Okay, this is the bracket. So what profit would any preschool really make, to be honest, if they are having about 50 students per year? Okay, so they're paying about 30,000, 15 lakh rupees. What is your rent? What is your expenditure? To be very frank, the amount of time invested and the effort that goes in, literally, it is like actually we are serving the society. How many of you agree with me on this? Just type in agree. Because this is something that a message has to go to the right people. Okay, a lot of people have misunderstood that we currently make a lot of profit and schools are making money. It's not that. We are the most contributing to the society when it comes to the early childhood education, and it is definitely a big challenge currently. And what are those challenges? Okay, I want to talk about 3 challenges that we are facing currently. Okay, this is at this moment, it's not even before or after. As of today, we are facing 3 challenges. The top 1 challenges, okay, I'm going to be very straightforward. The first challenge is going to be no making admissions by the education department. The statement has been given. Okay, I read a lot of statements coming in from here and there, Facebook posts, taking parents poll and everything. But yes, we are not supposed to comment on whatever act is being performed by the government. But as a preschool owner, my concern is towards the preschool owners. Okay, we are not competitors. That is the one thing that we all have to be aligned in, because it's too broken apart. Okay, I'll be coming into that topic, that how we can make it more stronger. Okay, so the first point is going to be the no making admission from the education department, that they have completely informed the parents not to pay fee. That's the biggest challenge we are facing. The second challenge is parents are completely skeptical about sending the children to preschools. That means they have already made their mind that, okay, I'm not sending my child to the preschool this year. They have kind of made a decision. Okay, and the third challenge is how to sustain with the rent and salaries. Okay, if everyone are eager to know about all this, we'll find out some solutions for this. Just type in BIO, that's like bring it on. Okay, so if you type BIO, I'll be getting into 3 topics where exactly we'll try to figure out that what is the best possible way right now to tackle these 3 challenges. Okay, great. I see a lot of people typing in. Great to have interactive audience. Okay, the solution for the first one is going to be no making admissions by education department. So once the minister or the department is told that no paying, do you really think that parents are going to come and pay? Okay, just type in yes or no. Because do you really feel that after government has come up with the order saying that don't pay the fees to them and schools are not supposed to collect it, is it really easy for us to go market out there and get people to pay us? I'll tell you, it's not possible. Okay, because I run a preschool myself. I'm not just a franchisor. Okay, I run preschool to understand the pain points of my franchisees. Only then I will be able to completely relate with them. And that is when I can give them solutions. So I'll tell you, it is not possible for us to collect the fee. But there were some really dear and very nice parents. One of them who just called the school and said that, we know that right now you're facing a downtime in the schools, and we have an installment pending in the month of May. So we want to make a payment, and they made a payment of 10,000 rupees. Okay, and that was so sweet about the parent. And these are the parent, how we give service. Only this is like a cycle. Okay, if the parents really want to support you, even at any odds, they're going to come forward and they're going to be supporting you. So that support we are not getting today. Do you all agree with me? Just type in agree in the comment section. Because in a business, any business you take, that there should be 3 parts. One is going to be your product, one is going to be your offer, and one is going to be your market. Okay, so the product is going to be our preschool admission. The offer is going to be our school, whatever we are currently offering, the fee we might reduce, we might give discount or create it attractive. But the third part is going to be the market. Right now, I'll be very frank, the market is not ready. Okay, whatever you do currently by giving any kind of offer or creating any kind of a product, the market is completely rejecting it. So what we can do, the solution for this is going to be Prithvi sir, and I think Dr. Preetham is also here. He's also part of the ECA. Okay, so I strongly appeal to both of them that there must be a strong voice from preschool associations, because yes, preschool associations are members of these associations currently. So these organizations should come forward. I totally agree that we are not recognized completely. I mean, they have given us a certificate, but it doesn't really hold so good in the eyes of law. So we are not completely legalized to run a preschool which doesn't come under the education system completely as of now. But what is that we can do? Only when we are strong together. Okay, that is the place where we can negotiate few things. Okay, if the minister or the education department is saying not to collect the fees, or if they're telling parents not to pay it, if a collective group of, just imagine, about 300 to 500 preschools, okay, every single person coming together, going in front of the minister's house, going at the CM's house, do you think you will not grab their attention? Okay, do you think we will not grab the attention? We will. So there has to be that kind of unity at this particular moment, because if that is not there, I'm telling you, nobody can save us. And that's going to be completely real. Okay, so this initiatives is going to be an answer. I'll definitely get in touch once I finish my presentation. We'll discuss how we can do that. Okay, so the second part is going to be, parents are skeptical on sending children to preschools. They've completely rejected it. Okay, they're telling that we're not going to send at any cost for one single year. Being a parent, I'll tell you that maybe they are right in their own way. Coming to a child who's about 3-year-old, 4-year-old, and that to pre-nursery and nursery is going to take a big hit. Okay, so if you had 100% admissions, as one of the members messaged that not even 40% will be converted. Very frankly, it's not easy to convert that 40%. Just tell me how many of you made more than 10 admissions during the lockdown period. Okay, just type in me, because I really want to know. Because as far as I've seen all the preschools, no one has made more than 10 admissions. Okay, no one. If nobody has made it, just go ahead and type no. That's not possible. If you're not able to make 10 admissions, then where is the point of making your target of about 100, 150? Okay, our target was 250 for this year. Okay, to be very frank, within the March month, we've closed about 55 admissions. Okay, and the pace what we were going at, 250 was just like, we could have just achieved that within the current period. But after 55, I'll be very honest with you, we have not made one single admission for Yelahanka. Okay, this is the statistics. Okay, this is completely open. People are not coming forward. So for that, what can we do? Okay, we have to convince the parents. Okay, at least your existing parents, that preschools are going to be the second home. I double what Prithvi sir said. Okay, preschools are not mainstream schools. It is going to be an extension of your home. That is going to be one part. And then speak about the measures you plan to follow. I'm going to give you quickly 2 tips. I want you to note down in your pens and papers and take your notepads and note it down. That one, okay, is going to be that we are going to have a checkup 20 days before the school is going to start for the young ones. Okay, the parent has to get a compulsory checkup done 20 days before. Okay, and submit that particular certificate to the school. And second is going to be 3 days before joining the school, they have to do a second test. Okay, any symptoms will be covered within this period. Okay, if you like the idea, just type it super in the comment section. Okay, this should be mandatory, because I'm doing it mandatory for all our branches. If the children are going to come into school even after August or September, we are keeping it mandatory that a child has to go through a test 20 days before, submit a certificate, and 3 days before one more certificate. This is just to keep the environment safe. Okay, it is safe for the child as well as our children, our staff, and the entire thing. Because Corona, you cannot actually see that. And that's the biggest threat. And that is what we are currently facing. So these are 2 things what you can actually convince. And to be very frank, if we can put it across, and one statement comes right from the department saying that you can make admissions if parents are ready to do it. Only one single statement, I'll tell you, parents are ready to pay it. We have at least some 80 leads that we've generated through online and other sources who are saying that let the government say, okay, and we will come and make the admission. And that is how it is. I know a lot of people are there, right? A lot of preschools are currently having all your leads and you're just sitting and waiting for that one order. To do that, we have to be convincing the parent. Second, the third one is how to sustain the rent and salaries. Just type in if this is your biggest concern. Just type in yes in the comment section if you feel that paying your rent and salary is going to be your biggest challenge. Okay, again, the gun is on. Okay, you see the bullets firing. I'm going to give you a statement. This is going to be a straightforward answer to you. Okay, I'm going to be quoting Jack Ma here. I want you to read what's written here. Okay, for people in business, 2020 is really just a year for staying alive. Don't even talk about your dreams or plans. Just make sure that you stay alive. If you can stay alive, then you would have already made a profit. Okay, that's the statement given by him. Okay, and I find it very, very connecting because 2020 is not a year for us to be focusing on the numbers and the marketing and all those things. It is about the survival. Okay, so my question to you is, how do you pay the rent and salaries? I'm going to be telling you right now one thing. Sit back and think about that. Okay, you all are entrepreneurs, right? Just type in yes in the comment section if you are. Okay, we are not employed right now. I think most of us are entrepreneurs. If everyone are entrepreneurs, what is the number one mindset you need to have? You need to think like an entrepreneur. You need to think like a business owner. What does a business owner think at this situation? Okay, the answer is going to be, the business owner mindset is going to be that you have to start investing on your school. Okay, think that this investment is going towards your infrastructure, this investment is going towards your materials, whatever the reason might be, that I want you to assume that next 6 to 8 months is going to be your investment. And this is the activity what I did for my entire branches. Okay, I got them on a Zoom call and I made them calculate what is their rent, what is their expenditure with the minimum staff, what's the expenditure that's going to happen. After they came up with one figure, I told them to calculate into 6 months. They calculated that number. I told them that's your investment for next 6 months. Don't worry about whether the government is giving you order to go ahead and start the school, not start the school. It's not in your control. And this pandemic is being declared as act by God. That means the finance minister quoted that, right? That means you don't have control over it. I don't have control over it. So the only thing you have to do is think like a business owner and negotiate with your rental owners, like your landlords. Okay. All my branches, you know what they've done? They've gone forward, spoken to their landlords and negotiated to 50% of the rent. Okay. Are you asking me that 50% is waived off? No, I don't need a waive off. But until the school opens like a full-fledged, the owners have agreed to collect 50% rent as a part payment. The remaining 50% has to be paid. Okay. And we are going to pay it back. It's fine. Being like business owners. That's the first thing. And second is going to be, the hard hitting fact is going to be 35 to 40% of preschools will not sustain this blow. Okay. But members who are here, okay, I want to make a strong statement to every one of you that once you think like a business owner and start looking at that like an investment, you will be able to survive the next 6 or 8 months. And after that, it's going to be a blue ocean. If you can survive this, I'm telling you, friends, really the next year is going to be like you can't control them. Because I'll tell you, if there are 100 preschools and say about 35 preschools closed down at one go, the market would have increased. Okay, there are going to be new children also, right? So once the market is increased, where are they going to go? They have to come to preschools. And I'll tell you, there is no competition between a main school and like a full-fledged school and a pre-primary school. Okay, kindergarten and main school, don't compare. You're never competing. People who want to put the child in the K-12 school will never put them in preschool. People who want preschool will never put them in the K-12 school. So there are two different people, the two different markets. So focus on your own market, your own thing. So next year is going to be a big year. So this year, my advice to you very practically is to sustain this blow, and it's worth it. If you are able to do it, I'm doing it. You don't have money, borrow the money. Okay, if you get an investment, won't you do that? So this is the period to think like that. And that's what I'm thinking. But again, this is like your perspective, what you think and what are your plans. So, but my only thing is, I want you to, before take any big decision, to sit back and think why you really started this school. You started because you were passionate about it. It was your dream to be an educationist. It was your dream to run a preschool. And after putting up the dream together, is it right for you to just close down because of one pandemic that came in? Okay. After that, you'll be regretting forever. So no matter what, just start thinking like that. That is one advice I really want to give you. So as a franchisor, I just have 2 more points. As a franchisor, if we have a lot of franchises, what I have given advice to my particular branches is, I want to share it with all of you, because a lot of standalone preschools are also here. Maybe you will not definitely have a guide who can tell you all this, but I want to put it across all of you. The 5 parts is going to be, first is, I want all the franchises to stand by the franchisees. Okay, why did the franchisees first of all come to you? Okay, why did they come to White Petals? They came believing that, okay, White Petals is doing a good job and they're expert in that field. Okay, they believed in the brand. They said that, okay, this school is definitely having experience, and that's the reason they joined us. I opened 3 branches just before like 1 week of the pandemic. You go out and check in my Facebook page. I've opened 3 branches just 1 week before the pandemic hit. And right now, they have not even made one single admission. but every single branch is going to sustain, and it is my duty as a franchisor to make sure that they sustain. The second is going to be there to guide them, because you are experienced, right? You've been running it and you've been doing that and you're in that business. So guide them. They are new there. Okay. So my job is to make sure that guide them and tell them clearly. The third part is going to be explain the situation clearly. There is nothing wrong. If a pandemic is hit, it's not my complete involvement as a franchisor. Putting things right in front of franchisees and telling them, see, this is what is going to happen for next 6 months. You better be prepared. Will remove that curtain that's between you people. Okay, franchisor and franchisee, it's going to be like a one team. If you're not working like team, it's going to break apart. This pandemic is going to hit lot for the franchises. Second is going to be, fourth is going to be make a plan how we can survive. Just like I shared, you can make a plan. And the fifth point is going to be help them create other source of income. See, you have right now an opportunity to create other source of income. Your daycares cannot be stopped. Okay, there are working parents. So you have a strong chance of running the daycares. Just wait for another 15, 20 days. Once the things are settled down, your daycare might get permission, and that will be your strongest place to generate your revenue. Go with tutorials and other things. So that will be your other source. So my kind request is to all educationists, please go out there and guide alone preschools also to survive this place. Because I see a comment and I totally agree with that, that we are not in competition. Okay, the magic happens in collaboration. Okay, the collaboration is not happening in preschool segment, and that's the reason we are hitting. At the last, before I wind up, I have a message to all the parents. If at all this video is being uploaded on YouTube and any parent is watching this, my humble request to you is, it is your responsibility to save your school. You know why? Because your school has given you the right education when you really wanted. It's been a part of the development of the child, and these all are priceless. You cannot really pay value to it. It's your responsibility as a parent to make sure that you join hands with your particular preschool. Tell them, see, I can't pay you 100%. I'll pay you whatever percent it is, 50%, 60%, and you sustain this year. Because I'll tell you, one good school that closes in a vicinity is not a loss for the preschool owner. It is a loss to the complete vicinity. And when you want to get another best school, then you have to go forward for another 2 to 3 kilometers to get that kind of a school. So my humble request to parents is, please go ahead and be supportive and do it. And this message, whatever I've shared, you're free. If you're a preschool owner, you're free to take this mind map. You can take a screenshot of it and go and implement all of these. If you still have trouble, get in touch with me. I will definitely guide you, being in the education fraternity. And thank you. That's my presentation.
That was wonderful, Mr. Karthik Naidu. Excellent presentation. And I think everybody have got their questions cleared by the time we reached to our speaker, Mr. Karthik Naidu.
Okay, if anybody is having a question, you can probably leave in the comment section in the YouTube channel or something. I will definitely come forward and answer you or leave a message there. I think we are running
Yes, short. Definitely. You will have. Because
very clear, no questions. I see that.
And you were very factual, all the speakers, and you spoke about the challenges as well, and that not to pay fees by the government, that order, right? Correct. So we have to work collectively in a group, absolutely, hand in hand as a teamwork, and then we have to sustain at this present time.
There is going to be a cooperation from all of the associations where we can join hands together and show that kind of numbers. I mean, when about 200, 300 people go together, it makes a lot of difference. Yeah. And in case we require an appointment with the CM, so I will have a word with my mom. My mom is a politician as well. Yes, so she's the chairman currently for Women's Commission. So we'll try to get in the particular appointment, and we can submit one copy to them as well.
Definitely. That is for our Karnataka. But even we have, delegates from all over India. So, okay, for them as well, they have to get together. They have to form a unity and then take it forward. And unity is required at this moment, definitely.
Yeah, unity. And ma'am, if I can just say a few things.
Yes,
there was in the chat window, few people asking how to get to going to the ministers together, or how to create an association together.
Yes,
Karnataka Council of Preschools. I have shared a small link which has the application form. Nevertheless, it is kcpsoffice@gmail.com. People are free to send a mail there, and we will get back. Like Karthik said, unity is the only key for us to open now, and we all should go together.
We
I
are
will
very good,
ensure.
sir. Please take the
Yeah.
initiative.
I will ensure that
definitely join.
whenever we get our appointment, contact all the key leaders and ensure that we all go together.
Absolutely.
Yes, definitely.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And also in regards to getting tested before joining schools, 20 days and the 3 days pattern, that was wonderfully said. And act by God, think like business owners, 50% rent and 2 different segments of people. Wonderful, great. Thank you so much, Mr. Karthik Naidu,
Thank you, ma'am.
for your presentation. Now, going ahead, we had Dr. Preetham Agarwal, but unfortunately, because of some technical difficulties, it's been raining heavily this side, and he stays very close to Banaswadi. He's not finding time, and he also had group entrepreneurs business meet at 8:15 or so. So we are not able to get him online. So next we have Mr. Keezer Ahmed, the host for the day. Keezer, are you available?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Let me read something about him. At a very young age, he formed a private limited company called Keezer Technologies, and he's the founder and director of the same company. And he's living in Bangalore. And in his free time, he studies human-computer interface and the psychology of human-computer interactions. He is both driven and self-motivated, and he is constantly experimenting with new technologies and techniques. He is very passionate about web development and strives to better himself as an entrepreneur and the development community as a whole. Since 2015, Keezer has been working with responsive design integration and has experimented with several responsive techniques and tools. He has worked with Bootstrap, although he prefers to add responsive support manually whenever possible. Keezer is a very big fan of using media queries on his site, and he strives to design layouts that can easily be optimized for aesthetic appeal on each of desktops, tablets, and cell phones. He is also a trustee of ClickArt, which was started in June 2019 as a non-profit organization with a single motto of imparting quality education to photography professionals. He is a postgraduate as well as he is Microsoft certified professional, as well as, he has done many certification courses in technology, and he is a specialist basically in NetFrame work and web applications. And he is the one, and I'm supporting him, his company, as a mentor and an advisor. And he is the one who, if you tell him anything to do any marketing activities or advertisements, he's the one to be contacted, and he does it wonderfully. And this video recording would be posted in the YouTube channel, as well as all the links would be sent to each and everyone who have participated today, to all the speakers as well. They can post it in their Facebook or whichever social media they want to, and it'll be a very good approach for everyone, and we can reach maximum number of educators who will be benefited by this webinar that we had today. Thank you so much, and over to Keezer Ahmed.
Thank you for the wonderful introduction, Dr. Lata Murthy. Now let me start off with a small presentation which I am going to show you people today. And I thank all the participants for joining also. Now let me tell you something about my company. We are a IT company from last 5 years, that is 2015 in Bangalore, where we focus on 4 primary characteristics, that is quality, cost-effective solutions, fast delivery, and client success. In quality, we employ professionals like all our employees have second degree specialized backgrounds and wide range of skills. Cost-effective solutions, working with us means lower cost offshore options for all your needs. Fast delivery means we deliver the product on or before time. That is what is the feedback, and our success ratio is 99.2% till date. Client success, we value the success of your clients. For us, the client comes first in everything. Let it be the product, let it be the delivery of the product. Confidentiality, transparency, and accuracy are essential in every relationship with current and upcoming clients, which we maintain 100%. Okay, what are the services we are giving? We are into web designing and development, software development, mobile application development, digital marketing, we are into corporate training, and we help schools in admissions through marketing. Okay, I'll tell you something about my team. We are a team of young and dynamic professionals at work. Nowadays, wherever these people go to work, they ask for experience. If you people are not hiring these youngsters, how will they get experience? So I prefer taking youngsters and freshers in my team. I train them, I put them to different departments. Every member is free. We, like, for example, we take their ideas, we use it in the company. Team spirit is above hierarchy, as we believe a team together we can do more better than an individual. For me, let it be a small team also. A small team can build up a big company. That is what I think so. Our team members include well experienced professionals. Our service offerings are structured into various service segments. Okay, now let me show you a thing. Almost, first of all, I thank Dr. Anand Prabhu. 80% of my presentation, sir, has done it. Starting off with digital marketing, SEO, all the things Dr. Anand Prabhu has explained it beautifully. So I had to sit and change the presentation now. I have reduced this number of slides. So as you can see over here, when a student is sitting at home, okay, when a student is sitting at home and when he is searching for some course, if he wants to get an admission, if a parent wants to send a student for a pre-KG or a nursery or some school, they'll sit at home and obviously they'll start off with Google. They'll search for the schools. They'll go to Google. They'll start off with some keywords like best school in Bangalore or best school in Tamil Nadu, anything. And SEO helps the school to come up on the analytics of Google. Let me go to the next slide. As sir said that Google ads and Facebook ads spend goes up, you should have a website for your school. This is mandatory. Your website visits goes up. Looking for the students, the parents will be looking for multiple course options. Okay, they'll be looking for some short-term courses also. They'll pay you online immediately. They'll call you as soon as they have paid, and you can interact with them. And each and every website should have a chat bot. Whenever you are messaging something on the website, you'll be getting some, I think you people have seen, most of you have seen this in bank websites, mobile applications and all. You'll have chatbots where predefined answers will be stored. And as soon as you type your query, they'll be sending you one message, a predefined message, which will be saved over there, stating that, okay, your query will be addressed by our team, we'll get back to you. There are some predefined messages and emails which you will be getting. So these are some of the tips and all. Okay, as Dr. Lata Murthy said, I have some important announcements for today. Okay, the first announcement for all the participants of the schools who have attended today's seminar, if you have any existing static website, I'll be giving you 6 months of free maintenance for your website. By chance, if your institution doesn't have a website, I'll be giving you a static web designing, free hosting and free domain name for the next 6 months. We will be helping schools in digital marketing for less amount of rates. We'll increase your digital presence and increase school admissions. If you don't have your social media pages, if you don't have a YouTube channel, let it be anything digitally. We'll be helping all the schools and colleges who have attended this session today. You can have my contact details. These are my contact details.
And Keezer, you have to talk about the individual pages that you create.
Exactly, ma'am. That is what I was about to come now. I'll be creating individual school pages throughout social media on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Instagram is a very much essential social media platform to grow your business. Dr. Anand has explained this in detail. I'll not put much over it since we have lack of time now. We'll be helping you people to create your pages.
It could be for individual as well. Now, supposing there is a person and she wants to create her own page. So in that case, you are going to create that.
Exactly, ma'am. If there are principals or chairmen of schools or colleges, if they want to create their own social media pages on Instagram, on Facebook and all, we'll be helping you people digitally in building up your profiles also, your Facebook pages. We'll be growing your YouTube channels through digital marketing. for that you have to give us proper content. So that is the reason I have given this free website. If you people don't have a website, we'll be designing a static website for free with free hosting and free domain name for 6 months. You can contact me after this session. I have sent